Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in. And now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to this Turo Fitness podcast. Today I'm talking about optimizing nutrition for peak performance. So from a little bit of my background, this is more about ice hockey, but as I'm ex-professional ice hockey player, now work with different hockey teams with the Italian national team. And at this week, when I'm recording this, we are with the women national team training camp, and we had a good talk about nutrition, and wanted to talk a little bit about same things here. But as this is a large topic, it's not only about ice hockey, it's about basically all athletics who are trying to get their performance to the next level and optimizing that performance, especially if you are in a season that you have a lot of games you have, or your events, you are running, you are playing tennis, you have back-to-back games or events, or where you have to be at your best level. And also you can apply this for your all-day training. So a little bit, like I said, from my background, I'm a professional ice hockey player. I played until I turned 30, so that's over 10 years ago when I retired. I'm still refereeing in top levels, but from my background, like when I was playing professionally, nutrition was unfortunately part that I kind of knew something, as we had a lot of different nutritionists talking about stuff, but it never hit me really home. And I wasn't like, I was kind of listening, but I didn't apply that advice to my real life. And I wish I would learn this earlier, and now within past 10 years, as this is kind of, it's my work. I try to live how I preach, what I teach. And here I'm going to share a little bit my own examples, but also giving you a little bit strategies and just the ways to think. And I try to not sound like some doctor. I try to talk like that every person can understand what I'm talking. So with a very simple way. So I'm not going any scientific details too much, I hope. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation. And if you do, I would appreciate if you know someone who could benefit from this episode. Please share it with one of your friends or tag it in your social media, Instagram story. And remember, if you tag me, I want to share some love with you. I would really appreciate it. And those who haven't done it, all 5-star reviews in Spotify, Apple Podcast, they help a lot. And would appreciate if you could leave one 5-star review, but that's only if you get something out of this episode. So a little bit, what is the most important thing is your daily habits. So you might think, like, as we talked, like it's peak performance, and especially like I use ice hockey examples, but like if you think as a hockey player, you have a lot of games, you think that what to eat before, after games, but actually everything starts already a lot way before you are actually playing a game. Later, we will talk a little bit about how to optimize your nutrition, especially before games, what do things take care of during the game or during the event, and what to do then after. But if we start with just the regular habits. So what we talk today with the women national team is all about daily habits. So what you are doing on a daily basis. And this is something like what was so eye-opening for me, because I kind of knew like what is healthy, what is not healthy, what are carbohydrates, what is source of protein, but I didn't have any plan what to do, how much, where I should be focusing on if I'm eating healthy. And sometimes, you want to probably enjoy life also and enjoy eating not only according what is the most optimal way to improve your performance, but you want also to enjoy foods what you actually enjoy. And this is something what I always recommend. That was for me is to become aware of what you are doing on daily basis. So my examples were like that, just tracking your nutrition. So this is the best way to know it, like that, using it, taking a, if you don't need to track your food intake for rest of your life. But if you take a moment, you take a week or two from your life and really take a look what you are eating. So for me, I learned so much about my portion control, how much foods I'm eating, what I'm eating, and about calories, about proteins, about carbohydrates, which foods I'm eating on daily basis. Like for my examples were, like for example, my breakfast. I used to have just 2 slices of bread, maybe with some chicken, with some ham, which is it's not bad. But when I changed that, I started now. It's a couple of years when I changed it. I started to add more protein, and I was thinking that what is the easiest way, because I didn't have. I had a maybe slice of cheese, a little bit of some ham or something on my bread, and that was not. I got maybe 10 grams of protein. And when I changed, I was thinking that what I could be adding more to get more protein. As protein, I will talk it a little bit later, why it's important, what it does for you, and how much you should be getting. But I was looking at other sources of protein, and for me, I found it like it was obviously that kind of changing habits. It's not happening overnight, and it was so hard. I could never imagine to change my breakfast, what I have had like 30 years or 20 years in my life, and to changing that habit was such a difficult task. But how I started step by step. Instead of eating 2 breads, I had only 1 bread and had something else with that. And for me, I found when I had some kind of yogurt, Greek yogurt or skyr, high protein yogurt with some berries or fruits. So I started to implement those things. And then at some point I was like that, I give it a shot. I tried to go without bread, and I was changing it for smoothie. And now I'm feeling so much better, and energy levels, what I have during the day, how I'm not feeling hungry before lunch, almost never. It changes, it has changed dramatically. And the reason why it actually happens is that when you have like now my breakfast has every single day 50 grams of protein. So what I'm having, I have 250 grams of Greek yogurt or skyr, which has around 10 grams of protein per 100 grams. So 25 grams from there. I add a scoop of unflavored protein powder, which gives another 25 grams. So I have already 50 grams. What is the second most important, why I do it with the fruits or berries, because it's a fiber. So I'm a person who struggles to eat fruits or berries later on the day. So when I make sure that I have my 2 pieces of fruit every single day already in morning, so I have kind of already my fiber covered before I start the day. And the reason why those 2 things are the most beneficial, so protein and fiber, they are keeping you satisfied full longer. So you feel fuller for longer. And that is just a game changer for me, for my breakfast. And this is, but it don't have to be, you don't need to mix some smoothie if you don't want, but just think it like for your protein goals, whatever your goal is, like what I would say that bare minimum for athletes is around 1.5 grams per body weight. So if your weight is 70 kilos, 105 grams, or I would say that if you put it just at least 100 grams every single day. And how to get there? Like I weigh 90 kilos, so my protein goal, I try to get a little bit more. So my protein goal is 160 grams per day. And I know that if I'm not having barely any protein at my breakfast, I'm going to have huge problems to hit my protein goal. It's getting so hard later on the day. So that's why I have to start with the high protein. And then just the ways to think protein, how to get it. Like I'm looking my meals. I don't plan always every single meal, but I look what my protein sources are. So I look, for example, lunch. If my goal is to get 30 grams of protein, or it could be more, but I'm looking how much I need to be. What is my protein source? Let's say it's a chicken, 100 grams of chicken, you get 24, 25, 26 grams, depending on chicken protein per 100 grams. If my goal is to get 40 grams, how much I would need to eat to get that 40 grams covered. So this is my protein source for lunch. Then same thing for dinner. Maybe it's some fish, maybe it's shrimps, maybe it's eggs. So whatever you decide to eat, just look what is your protein source, how much it has protein, how much you would need to eat to hit your protein goal, whatever that number is. And this helps. It's all about like planning and being prepared for those situations when you don't know what to eat, or obviously like hockey players, if you are traveling, you don't always have that choice what you are going to eat. Maybe you get some food, but you don't know what it's going to be or what your protein sources are going to be. So, but when you have everything what you can impact, it's not about being perfect. It's about doing those what you can affect and the best possible way what you can do. So these are just my own examples from my daily habits, how I have built it, and what I do. Like then it gives so much more freedom. Then later on, if you have those kind of habits, for example, protein. Other thing like what have helped me. I haven't been sick for past years. I barely never have some fever or anything. And I think, I'm not sure, maybe I'm not just a lucky, but I think that just my habits might have something to do. So all kind of that vitamins, minerals, and obviously, like that there is so much information what you should be eating, what not to eat. And my daily habit is just to make sure that I eat one big salad each day. And some days it's going to be two, but at least that's the bare minimum to have some kind of, at least some side vegetables, or ideally for me, it's a one big salad. So then you are kind of already covered with that kind of healthy stuff, what you know you should be eating, because there is not such a thing that to eat too much of those. So you can eat basically as much as you can. More you are able to do, better it is. So but if you think it's just a simple way, just one big salad per day and you are good. Other thing about those daily habits was like we talked about with women about something like what you are doing every day without even noticing. And for me, when I remember back, when I look back now, it's over 20 years ago, so a long time ago. We had a kind of nutrition information, and it was kind of one of those things that I was listening, but not really listening. And I can't remember almost anything what happened in what they were telling in that nutrition lesson. But one thing what really stick with me was those daily habits. And I was thinking that what kind of habits I do have. And I was thinking that I drink coffee with sugar every single day. And I love coffee. So I have 2 to 3 coffees every single day. And I used to drink it with sugar. So I had a teaspoon of sugar, 4 or 5 grams of sugar, every single coffee I have. And if you look 3 coffees per day, it's around 15 grams. Let's say that if it would be on average 2 coffees per day, 10 grams of sugar every single day. So when I look back now and think that it doesn't sound like that, it's not a lot of sugar for one day. But if you sum it together and think it like that, if I would keep that habit up, and in 1 year, it's almost 4 kilos of sugar just with the 10 grams per day. And in 10 years, it's 40 kilos. In 20 years, it's 80 kilos of pure sugar. And if you put it that for calories, that's 1 kilo of sugar. It's like I think 4,000 calories or something. So if you think it's in a year, if you add, it's like a 15,000 calories less what you are eating just from sugar in your coffee. So it's not, there are so many other small things what matters, what makes in the long run such a big difference. But this is just an example how those small daily habits, how they impact in a longer term, and without even noticing how much, what kind of difference that could make. And if you think it like just a fat loss perspective, what kind of things you are getting. If it's a 50 calories every single day, it's like a 15-minute walk. What do you consume amount of calories, or if you think it's just fat, I'm not saying that it's, you can't compare it like directly, that I think I wouldn't have now worth of like 15,000 calories more, or 10 kilos of fat more if I would keep drinking my coffee with sugar. But for sure, it makes such a big difference. And that's why, like, these kind of things, if you, what you are doing every single day can make such a big difference. Even they don't feel at the time that you are actually even changing something, but more often you repeat those habits, you will get what you actually deserve. And this is just an example how important those small things, what you are doing on daily basis. Then if you occasionally want to have some sweets, that's totally fine. But just those small daily things they make a lot bigger difference than every once in a while having some cake or chocolate. So that doesn't make that big difference than having those small daily things. And how you can get tracked. There is so many tracking apps. If you don't know how many calories you should be eating or how much protein you should be getting, I put link to my show notes. There's link for my calorie calculator. So you get, I will email you once you fill it up. I will email you your protein goal, your calorie goal, what it should be to maintain your weight, or if your goal is to lose fat, how much calories you should be eating, so you know where to get started. Then the next thing what I wanted to talk is about macronutrients in athletic performance. So obviously there is those three macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And what is the most important thing is like carbohydrates. That is the primary energy source for during the high intensity training and games. So the energy what you are using is coming from carbohydrates, especially on those higher intensity games. And we have carbohydrate storages depending on person from 250 to 1,000 grams per in our muscles, liver, and that is what we are using as an energy source. So this is proteins. They are important for muscle repair and growth. So when you are, for example, you are doing strength training, that you probably know that protein is important to repair your muscles, but it's also helping with the preparation. If you are doing some high intensity workout, and that protein is helping to repair then those damaged muscle tissues. And fats, they are important for long-term energy, especially if you're doing some prolonged exercises. But for athletic performance, the most important, what I would say, that is carbohydrates and protein, as I feel that for most people, fats are not that big issue. They are kind of getting automatically already okay. And depending, like especially here in Italy, I don't see that athletes have a huge problems with their carbohydrates either, as we eat here a lot of pasta, a lot of rice. So you have always some kind of sources of carbohydrates. Where the issue comes is often is protein. That amounts what we are eating protein are very low. So it's just my example from experience of working with hundreds of people. I would say that 80-90% of people who start working with me, they are not getting even close protein what they should be eating. They might eat some protein and they might think that they eat protein, but when you actually look how much protein you are eating, you are not even close where what it should be to get even close to that, what is actually possible to optimizing your performance. So the next part is what to do then before game. So pre-game nutrition. So uh, it makes such a big difference for your performance during the game. So what you are doing, and that is not like I used to think it always that it was just the dinner if we had a game at the night. So it was the lunch what mattered, but actually that already starts like 24 to 36 hours before the game. So what you are eating day before. That matters. That is the energy, what you are going to use on a game when you are going to play on day after. So obviously that matters too, what you are eating the last meal before your game, but actually that basis and that foundation you are building already day before. And that is what is the most important in that phase is carbs. Carbs are, like I said, they are the source of energy during that athletic, like especially hockey game, which is like around 2 hours. So you are using carbs, your main source of energy, and that is to make sure that you have enough carbs. So what could be like some kind of good examples, like some kind of whole grain pasta with lean protein source like chicken and side some vegetables. So these are kind of examples what could be a good practical meal ideas. And if you want to have some kind of snack before the game, it could be some banana or small portion of yogurt with granola for quick energy boost. So, and that other thing, what if you think that what you should be avoiding then before. So one thing, what if you have any kind of digestion issues is fiber. So 36 hours before. This was something what I talked in my recent podcast with the sport nutritionist James. It's if you from this episode, I think it's couple episodes before, we talked about endurance sport nutrition, and what I learned from him is that fiber, that it's very individual, but be careful with your fiber intake 36 hours before, because fiber it's causing in your gut. For some people, I don't feel any issues with fiber, but some people they might get bloated or stomach is upset, doesn't work that well as it should be. And fiber is something that you want to eat on a daily basis. It's very important, like I said, but just before the games or sport events, be careful 36 hours before. So what are good sources of fiber? Fruits in general. So fruits are totally, like I said, banana is totally okay. What is with the fiber? Where the fiber usually is in fruits is in their skin. So like for example, apple skin. If you feel like that apple, you are not digesting it well, probably try to eat it without skin. Or like a banana, I hope you are not eating banana with the skin, or because that is everything where that most of the fiber is. So fruits without skin are totally fine, but be careful with the skin and all kind of like if you feel that there is some kind of foods what you eat on daily basis or regularly and you feel bloated or that your stomach or gut is not working as it should be. So be careful with all kind of fiber, and that is just, but it's like I said, it's very individual. Then during the game, what is the most important thing is to stay hydrated. So that dehydration can significantly impair your performance. So hydration, it's such an important part, and usually like it's something that you kind of have to do, and it's not that it's really hard to overdo. So because our bodies are very good, like if you drink too much, you just gotta go more often to pee, and but obviously you don't need to that it's you are feeling too full. But if you are during the game or sport event, if you start to feel thirsty, it's already kind of too late. So just make sure you sip water every once in a while, even you are not feeling thirsty all the time. So that is helping so much. So sipping throughout the games, and if your sport event, like for ice hockey game, if it takes longer than an hour, consider some sport drinks with electrolytes to replenish all lost salt. So there are so many options available with salt inside, or if you don't want to use, you can basically add just some normal salt to your water. So salt is something what you are losing when you are sweating, and that is impacting so much for your performance. So that kind of those electrolytes, they make a difference, and hydration. So this is during the game, and if you feel like during the sport event, like what we talked also with the women's hockey team was like the things I'm not going to tell you what you should not be doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit how it's impacting. If you, for example, you decide to have before a game a Coke or some dessert or cake or some sugar stuff. So what what is going to happen is your blood sugar is going to spike up, and obviously you are getting boost of energy like right away. You feel it immediately that, wow, I'm tired, I'm good. But what happens is that then after, relatively quick after your blood sugar spikes up, you are performing better for a short period of time. But then after that blood sugar level, your energy levels are going to drop drastically. So they are going to be lower than they were initially. So if you decide to drink Coke or some sweet stuff before a game, or like let's say 2-3 hours before the game, and then you don't have to wonder why you don't have any more energy. But then on the other hand, during the game, like during the sport event, if you feel like that you are missing energy, that you feel like that your energy stores are kind of empty, then it's totally fine to have something quick, super quick, like if you want to eat some banana, what is easily digestible, or even drink some Coke or some sugary stuff. So to get that kind of that spike, but I would not recommend to do it in the beginning. But if you think like that you have 30 minutes to go, or in a hockey, you have a one more period, you probably could benefit eating before the last period, having some quick sugary snack, what is getting fast into energy into your body, and that could help you to perform better. So basically everything what you don't want to do in a regular basis during the game, it doesn't make it, might actually help you. Then those other kind of quick energy boosts, what could give you like a good, if you don't want to, you want to kind of do it in a healthier way, is like just some easily digestible snacks. So like kind of handful dried fruits, or piece of fruit like a banana or an apple, and or a few energy juice or gels or that kind of stuff, what helps you to get. But those things should be consumed during the breaks or as needed, and depending on your energy levels. So they are not necessary. If you feel that you are totally fine, you don't need to have those things. It's just in case that you start to feel like that now I'm starting to lack energy, then those kind of things, which are easily digestible, might help you to give that little boost of energy. What you should be then avoiding during the game is kind of heavy or fatty foods during the game. So you don't want to have too fatty stuff or heavy stuff. So if you want to have some burger, do it after a game, but not during the game, because usually, or having a big steak probably is not the best idea during the game. So because they might cause some discomfort and slow down that digestion, because they are not very quickly to digest. So everything what is kind of easily digestible is always the best choice. And then about post-game nutrition. So for the recovery, it's especially if you play more often, and think it like we have here now with the, for example, national team, we are playing back-to-back games. We have a lot of pretty high practice load. So you want to optimize your recovery. So, and think it like this way, like what is helping to improve your recovery. Obviously, sleep is the most important thing, but that is something what comes then after. But right after the game for nutrition part, because your energy levels are low, so you want to get something like some kind of carbohydrates, the most important, and with some salt, so electrolytes, so to get that recovery started. Also getting some protein in right away after to start that repair process, having that available. So what we did here, for example, that right after the practice, you have some kind of like before you go to cool down, before you go to shower, right away you get some kind of carbohydrates into your body to start that recovery process. So this is the most important thing, that to have that hydration, and then to starting that repair process, what damage you have done in your muscles. So to have some kind of protein. So usually in these kind of cases, if you don't want to, you are going to eat, for example, hockey world, we go to eat, maybe it's an hour, maybe 2 hour after game before you get actually food into your stomach and to your system. But if you get that 2 hours before, right after your event is finished, you get some kind of easily digestible. It could be some kind of post-workout a meal, banana. It could be some drink. It could be protein shake, protein bar, whatever, something where you get that kind of some kind of fuel into your body, that you start that repair process. So there is basically 3 R's, what is easy to remember. So refuel, repair, rehydrate, and rest. So this is 4 R's to remember for after the game. So refuel, it's to eat something. Carbohydrates, protein, the most important. Repair, it's the same thing. Rehydrate, so drinking a lot of liquids, and rest. So making sure to trying to optimize your sleep after the game, because that is the time when you are resting. So when you think that, then how much you should be eating? What is the optimal thing? It's 1 gram of carbs. Like carbs, usually what I recommend and what James recommended in my recent podcast was 1 gram carbs per kilo body weight. So to get at least 25 grams of protein and drink a lot of fluid. So this is that refuel. Is that if you get, for example, you are athlete, weight 70 kilos, 70 grams of kind of carbs. So how you are going to get it? If you look whatever you are going to drink or whatever you are going to eat right after, to make sure that you have that 170 grams of carbs if your body weight is 70 kilos, then to get that 25 grams of protein, how you prefer to get it, you can have 250 grams of Greek yogurt, you could have protein shake, you could have protein bar, you could have whatever protein source you enjoy taking, but that is just to repair your damaged muscle tissues, and a lot of water. So for example, these kind of things, I'm a big fan of protein shake. So you get kind of that hydration protein. At the same time, it's relatively easy to get it right away. But this is, like I said, for general people, it doesn't matter. But if your goal is like, if you know that you have back-to-back games, you need to be at your best level, it's probably the simplest, easiest way to do it. Protein bars, I don't have, it's up to you. There are so many different brands available, different type of proteins. So I had a full episode about supplements. If you look my podcast, there is a full episode of supplements where I go deeper, but basically protein powder, whey protein powder is the fastest to digest. That's very good. Other one is kind of casein protein, what I use myself, plant-based protein. There's not huge difference between them. There might be different, like I personally had some digestion issues with some brands. My stomach was almost always upset, but when I changed it for different brand, different type of protein, so then there is nothing wrong, and it should feel in your stomach that if you are eating, for example, chicken breast, or you take a protein shake, it should feel the same. So there is no difference, and it's totally safe. It's not, it's just convenient way. Obviously, the most optimal way is to have that protein from natural food sources. But like this kind of situations when you don't have access to having a chicken breast right after the game, probably the protein shake is the simplest, easiest way to do it. And like I said, different brands, try what works for you. What I use myself is Alp Solution. I have discount code there. You can use it if you want to support me. If not, totally fine. It's Turo 15. I will put link to show notes. So you can use that if you want. If you have your own brand, feel free to use it. I don't need it. It's just what I use and recommend myself using and brand what I trust. So that's about protein. So these are just ideas how to get it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Email me turo@fitmeetturo.com or DM me in my Instagram at personaltrainer_Turo, and I will be always happy to help you. So, like I said, thank you for listening, and I would appreciate all 5-star reviews, sharing this with someone who you know would need to hear this. So thank you, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.